I was surprised that North Melbourne supporters weren't out in force. I mean, new year, new coach, new hope. They got the 4 points, but where was the crowd?
Yeah, it wasn't a huge crowd, TJ, but North Melbourne did get the 4 points and they led for most of the day. So they were confident enough to take that lead, but then West Coast Eagles just found something out of nowhere, and I thought that Liam Ryan was the instigator. He kicked 3 goals, and it was a pressure game late. There was hardly any pressure in the game in the first half, but late it just showed players were missing goals, players were falling over, missing easy kicks, missing easy handballs, and it was almost who can make the least mistakes late. And I thought that young man had a massive tackle in the middle of the game, but North Melbourne, well done. They had to win. They get the 4 points and they go to next week.
Only won 2 games last year, North, as did West Coast, so already got 1. So, yeah, you can just see that man there, Harry Sheezel. So let's talk about Harry. So I don't think he would have ever played backline in his life, because I watched his junior year. He's too good to be a backman in junior football. Yet Clarko 2 weeks ago has said, we've probably got a hole we need to address at half back. He puts him there 2 weeks ago, and he has 34 disposals, which is the most of any player since 1991. Dean Gregg has the most with 38 back a number of years ago. But just the poise, the class, never looked panicked, never looked rushed. And I know you can make big statements, but I think he's the most exciting player at North Melbourne, where they can come through the gates to watch. Since back when they had McKernan and Carey.
You don't make those calls,
those sorts of guys.
You don't make those calls.
It's Sean Francis, yeah, but someone who's going to be there for a long time. No, because I think in time he'll be a midfielder like Petrarca and Dustin Martin. Someone will be midfield, will go forward and kick your 4 goals in a game. So he's one special player.
So the fallout, TJ, for West Coast, I mean, it should be severe. I mean, this is a club who, as Lloyd said, won 2 games last year, and this has been building for a long time. The writing was on the wall 3 years ago that they needed to rebuild this group. They didn't do it. There's the numbers after North Melbourne lost their ruckman early in the second quarter, and they still got smashed from stoppage. Look at the ground ball gets numbers. Look at the scores from stoppage and clearances. That's without North Melbourne having a recognised ruckman. And then Adam Simpson's record in the last 30 games. It doesn't matter what you've done. Doesn't matter the premierships that you won 4 years ago. No coach can survive a win-loss record like that.
There were extenuating circumstances
there was, TJ,
last year.
But how many excuses are we going to give to this group? This is a team that has a chock full of premiership players, experience, turning up to play North Melbourne in the first year of a rebuild under a new coach who won 2 games last year, and they lose like that. There was no excuses for them, and I expect the pressure to come from the Perth media pretty significantly on the coach, Adam Simpson.
I agree with Kane on that, TJ. I mean, the attitude that they displayed first up in the new season was indicative of what they had last year, which ruined their season totally. So I was like you. I wanted to see what they produced, and it was really abysmal. Again, and I'm with Kane. There's going to be questions asked that should have been asked in the off-season.
I was listening to the game on 3AW in the car, and Lee Matthews was doing special comments. Were you in the box yesterday?
No, I wasn't.
No. Lee Matthews was doing special comments, and I'm pretty sure he said something to the effect of 10 minutes into the match, he said, I want to change my tip now, he said, because West Coast just don't look interested to me. Words to that effect.
You ask the question why, don't you? Given what they went through last year and given what they pledged to do in 2023 against the team, as Lloyd said, it equally won 2 matches only last year.
Yeah, the other side that was just appalling, I thought, over the weekend was the Gold Coast Suns, and I want to highlight some errors. Just errors. This is just things you'd be disappointed with at local level. So this is in the first quarter, just the panicked hack kicks. So it was the Swans scored like 10, 11 goals from turnovers in this game, and this is just not good enough. And this is a young player here, but you just don't hack the ball. You just don't see good sides hack the ball, and it just comes straight back over your head. You know, this next one, like this is Ben Long, who's been around long enough. What's this kick? What is this? That is a torpedo. Like out of the back line straight to a Sydney player, and then what's this one? So just letting a running half-back stroll through in Lloyd and kick a goal, that is just unforgivable.
Spot on. And how long are we going to cop this from Gold Coast? I think the story was Sydney's hunger, though, because we were wondering how they're going to respond from the grand final. They laid 83 tackles despite dominating the disposal count. So they are clearly hungry. They've addressed the grand final disappointment, and you could watch out. I think Sydney are going to be a very hard team to beat.
Buddy Franklin looked hungry and lively at times, but found himself in this match review office moment on Sam Collins. And again, just first viewing in this, and if you replayed it, it's unnecessary. The way you see it now, how Michael Christian views it, but again, it's the type of incident that the AFL does frown upon, particularly with what's going on in the legal and court system.
So what's he get?
Won't be playing.
I can't see him playing. Yeah, so 1 week.